As President Trump says, from this point forward, anytime the Islamic Republic of Iran shoots at a ship in the Strait of Hormuz, whether it be by missile, rocket, drone, or any other device or weapon, the United States will bomb and destroy one bridge or power plant, including those located next to or in the capital city of Tehran. The 11th night of American airstrikes in Iran came as diplomatic efforts have shown little signs of progress publicly.
President Trump has threatened once again to destroy or target Iran's civilian infrastructure if he doesn't get his way with the free flow of transit through the Strait of Hormuz. So he's arguing if Iran strikes any vessel that's attempting to transit through the strait, we will go ahead and attack their civilian infrastructure. Now, Trump has tried this method before, as we all know. He does the same thing over and over and over again. And does it yield any positive results with the Iranians? Trump has previously used such rhetoric to push Iran to reopen the strait. The Geneva Conventions prohibit strikes on infrastructure, acknowledged to be indispensable to the survival of the civilian population. Not that he cares about international law or the Geneva Convention or anything like that. But the point in sharing that little excerpt from that Politico article is the fact that Trump just keeps attempting the same failed strategy over and over again and committing war crimes while he's doing it. Now, with all of that in mind, for its part, Iran has made abundantly clear that they will not relinquish control of the strait. And why would they? The Strait of Hormuz is where they have their leverage. They also have leverage when it comes to the Red Sea because Trump's escalation of the war, the fact that he decided to reignite the war against Iran, has certainly led to the Houthis, who are of course backed by Iran, to carry out a blockade in the Red Sea. And the Red Sea route for the transit of Saudi oil was really the loophole, the go around that the Saudis were relying on. And now that has been closed. Now, let's be clear, the United States has lost this war and has lost it badly. And at this point, it would probably be far better for us to just withdraw entirely. But Trump seems poised to remain in this war, poised to see more of our service members get killed as a result of this war. And this is all happening while military experts, people like Joe Kent, say over and over and over again, there is no military option here. There is no military option. So 18 of our service members that we know of, by the way, have been killed in this war so far. Nearly 500 soldiers have been wounded. And while any commander-in-chief would be absolutely devastated at the loss of American service members in a war that's being fought on behalf of a foreign country, Trump's comments ahead of the dignified transfer of their remains at the Dover Air Force Base prove otherwise. Just take a listen to what he had to say.
I'll be going to Dover for something that I feel it's a great honor for me to do it. These are people that want it and they feel like I do, that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Very simple. It's a very simple dictum. They cannot have a nuclear weapon.
He has, first of all, it's my honor. No, I think he's trying to seem empathetic. I'm gonna give him, I don't know why, but I just want to be fair. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He thought maybe he was being respectful by saying it is an honor to receive the remains of the American soldiers who were slaughtered in a war that I decided to enter on behalf of a foreign country. He probably thought that was a kind, honorable thing to say, but it wasn't, in my opinion.
Do you know your brain rot index? No, of course you don't. I didn't either because I didn't know what it was, but turns out you might want to, especially after hearing this. Did you know that the average American checks their phone over 200 times a day? That's about 5 hours of screen time a day on just your phone. Unfortunately, that means your brain is rotting. A little bit, but have no fear. I switched over to Noble Mobile, downloaded their Noble Mobile Life app, and was able to track my own brain rot index. It's 0. No, I'm just kidding. My number was not great, but now that I'm on Noble Mobile, getting way better. It tracks how much you use your phone, how often you pick it up, and even shows you how to save money on your phone bill by using it less. New members can even earn up to $100 cash back for keeping their brain rot index under 100, which means you are very unrot. Okay, so you unlock all that when you join. So download the Noble Mobile Life app today, track your own brain rot index, and learn how you can save money and spend more time doing things that actually bring you joy instead of doom scrolling on social media. Check it out by heading to tyt.com/switch or by downloading the Noble Mobile app. By the way, shh, don't tell Andrew, but if you're on Wi-Fi, you also don't use your data, so you're gonna get money back anyway. tyt.com/switch.
I don't like the fact that he is speaking on behalf of these fallen service members. We don't know what their views on Iran was. We don't know what they thought about Iran possessing nuclear weapons. They signed up to serve our country and unfortunately found themselves under the leadership of a commander-in-chief who values the priorities of a foreign country over our own. Isabella, the 19-year-old service member who was killed just this past weekend, she signed up for the military after Trump got elected. I don't know who she voted for, I don't care. But it would be devastating if we learned that she signed up for the military because she was under the impression that Trump was a peace president, that he wouldn't start new wars. But he did the exact opposite. So who would be honored to attend the transfer of service members' remains? Like this guy doesn't think before he speaks, but other ways in which the United States has lost this war includes, of course, the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, which was open and free for transit prior to the war. And then you couple that with the Iran-backed Houthis shutting down or blockading the Red Sea. And then amid all of this Iran war-related chaos, Trump is beginning to lose support among his base. And there have been multiple polls in recent days that have proven this. So the latest is actually a poll carried out by Politico. They found that 37% of self-identified MAGA Trump voters say the US should continue its involvement only if it doesn't increase costs. That's a low percentage. And there's a caveat, only if the war doesn't increase costs, which of course it will, it does, it has been. So that's an incredible number, 37%. He doesn't even have the support of 50% of his base at this point when it comes to this war. Laura Ingraham, longtime host over at Fox News, is like, wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. Wrap it up. I guess she's an anti-Semite. We're all the Zionists. Is Laura Ingraham an anti-Semite now? What a weak, pathetic argument from people who don't have an argument. Oh, you're an anti-Semite. Okay. Well, with that in mind, let's go to Trump's reaction to just how unpopular this war is with his own voters, with his own base.
Well, Americans aren't against the war. A poll just came out. Americans don't want high gasoline prices, but they're not against the war. That just came out loud and clear in a poll. Nobody wants Iran to have a nuclear weapon.
No one really cares about Iran having nuclear weapons. Literally, no one cares. I've said this on the show before, I stand by it. Israel doesn't care. It was always a cover story for a regime change war against Iran. I don't care. I don't feel threatened by Iran. I feel threatened by my own government. I definitely feel threatened by my own government. You know, the government that's going around and labeling American citizens terrorists, domestic terrorists, because they're not adequately supportive of Israel. Insane. Absolutely insane. But what's also insane is how delusional Trump is about where the country and his own voters are on the issue of this war. This is not a popular war. It didn't begin as a popular war. And as we predicted, it became less and less popular as the weeks and now months went on. So Trump likes to take orders from the Israelis, and nothing makes that clearer to me than the fact that he has basically carried out everything Netanyahu wants. No other administration was willing to carry out Netanyahu's war against Iran, but Trump did it. And we are all suffering the consequences of that. Defense contractors are making money. Oil companies are making money. Limited supply means we can charge a lot more. And that's what they're doing. I'm worried about our national security for literally the first time in my life. And why am I saying that? Well, we are running out of missiles, missile interceptors. We are depleting our strategic petroleum reserve. We are making enemies all across the globe. There was a Financial Times article, investigation in fact, into how the United States was supposed to share the profits of Venezuelan oil with Venezuela. They haven't shared a dime. They just stole the oil. We are making a lot of enemies. And we're doing it with an incompetent Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, total moron. We'll get to him later in the show. And Donald Trump, who I don't know if he's all there, to be honest with you. Like, there's something up with him. The energy is low. He's surrounded by a bunch of snakes who might not be giving him accurate information about what's really going on. There is a possibility that Trump is genuinely under the impression that this war is deeply popular with the country, including with his own voters and base, because he's surrounded by snakes. He's surrounded by people who literally worked on Netanyahu's re-election campaign in 2020, including his chief of staff, Susie Wiles. So are we really certain that accurate information is getting to Donald Trump in the first place? I don't know. What I do know is that he is the president of the United States. He's at least supposed to be one of the most powerful people on the globe. And if he had a modicum of intellectual curiosity, then maybe he would, do a little digging on his own and venture outside of his pro-Israel, Netanyahu-controlled bubble. But God forbid he venture out of that.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.